Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Plunkett here from Pierce College. Trying this on the computer in classroom number 65, which I've never used before. So I actually had to download my Zoom, which some of you have done who have joined us in the class. So this is our evening update. I intend to do these right from the classroom every night before I go home and let you know what we did in class. So you can actually download from the portal this document, which tells you basically what we did tonight. And of course, we didn't necessarily do everything in order because we had a lot of chatter going on. And it's a very lively group that's here, so you guys are missing out if you're not here. Obviously, I understand everybody's got lives and things to do, and FIT is designed to let you live your life and still attend school, so that's fine. I would only suggest if you have the time to come visit us one night, please come join us. Please come hang out with us one night. We have a good time. We do a lot of cool things in class, and I would like to meet everybody in person if possible. But understanding that some of you just don't have the capability to do that. So tonight, I'll just use the standard format as it was planned. Again, we didn't necessarily do everything in perfect order. But we start off class every night with current events. So we talked about the repercussions potential repercussions in the law enforcement community with the Philadelphia DA's race. As some of you, hopefully any of you who live in the city voted last week. And we know that the Democrat candidate is a guy named Larry Krasner, who basically his claim to fame has been a civil rights attorney and filing many, many lawsuits against police and law enforcement, and said he wants justice. So hopefully he also justice includes locking up bad guys. But during his campaign, his major focus seemed to be on police corruption and terrible prosecution. So we're going to see. He said some bad things about the DA's office, said some bad things about the police, but now after he got the candidacy, he says, you know, we're going to work together and it's going to be great. Not to be confused with someone else who likes to say it's going to be great. We also talked about wrongly incarcerated people. There's an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer today. You can see it on Philly.com about a guy who spent 24 years in prison in the state of Pennsylvania for a crime that he apparently did not commit. I think that was in Sunday's paper as well. So look that up. And of course, we also talked about the serious and terrible terrorist attack that happened in Manchester, England on Sunday night, where you had an Ariana Grande concert at the Manchester Arena, and somebody came into the foyer, didn't actually get into the concert itself, but in the foyer when people were already starting to leave, and it blew up a bomb. At this point, there's like 23 people dead and 59 people injured, some of them seriously. So we talked a little bit about that, and you know, what was the focus of this attack? We talked a little bit about terrorism. You know, here we have a concert that mainly is adolescent and teenage girls. The one girl who was 8 years old who was killed in this attack. You know, that are her fans. So really, really terrible. But it's terrorism. You know, the whole idea of terrorism is to scare the crap out of everybody and make us change how we do things. So what better way than to scare a community than to let you know, hey, your kids are at risk as well, and we're going to come after them. So we talked about that. Then we reviewed Chapter 1, talked about any questions that people had with regard to Chapter 1. So basically it was on them. You know, we talked about what's criminology, what are theories about, how do we come to theories, what's the hypothesis, and of course we talked about those measures of crime that you've been discussing in the discussion group all week. And remember, the measures of crime being the Uniform Crime Report and the National Crime Victimization Survey. So we got into them again. And a little bit about research and data collection and how that's done. And again, any questions that needed to be answered, you know, people weren't clear on things. And of course, I am readily available to you via email or whatever means you choose to use. Again, the college suggests a Dropbox because it keeps a record, so you know if I'm doing my job and if your question, you know, was legitimate, whatever. Then the next thing on the agenda, we had a special guest speaker, Brett Palmer, the information literacy librarian from the Pierce College Library, who went over how to do scholarly research. He actually has created a web page for us with a bunch of cool stuff to help you do your project. And so we talked about doing scholarly research. He talked about a couple of 2 or 3 databases that are accessible to you through the Pierce College Library and how they will assist you in doing your project, which requires 7 sources. And also talked about how to do APA citations and, of course, when they are required. So the website he created, if I may share the screen here, is, let's go to the right one. Should be this one here, excuse me. So let's look at this one. No, not that one. And that's our course. And if I can get to this one. All right, so he created this website. Here's the URL for the website. I also put it in the announcement for tonight's class that I posted in the announcements. And it is in the Webliography. This is a really cool site that he prepared for us. Gives you a really brief overview of the requirements of your project. Then he talked about EBSCOhost and CQ Researcher, eBook Central, and Films on Demand. And as you can see, there are videos for each of those. So if you want to know how that works, just click on a video, watch that video, and they're very short, maybe no more than 6 minutes a piece, to give you an overview of how to do research on these various databases. You also have the contact information for the library, library@pierce.edu. That goes to both of the librarians, so whoever reads it first can answer you. Has a phone number if you want to call them directly, and of course you can always go up if you're on campus to visit a library in person. And they apparently have a Facebook link as well. They have a copy of the textbook, the 3rd edition, available up in the library if you wanted to borrow it. You can't take it out of the library. You can read it up there and work on it if you're here on campus and you forget your book, or you want to see what this 3rd edition looked like for those of you that didn't get it. It also has on here a whole list of criminal justice related links. Some of these I've actually placed in the Webliography as well, but they're very useful in your research, and there may be a lot of other ones. At the bottom, he has a video on plagiarism and APA citations, and they talk about that a little bit. Again, he went over all this stuff with the group in class. It was about 45 minutes. I would strongly suggest that you look at these videos, and this way we make sure that the research that you have during the course is done well. Then we got into a variety of different discussions. Well, actually, we took a break, but following that, we got into classical and neoclassical criminology, which is chapter 2 in both editions of the book, chapter 2. And we went through the PowerPoint, which I will do a lecture tomorrow and post it in the location. I'll show you where that is. So we have, if you go down this side under course and you go all the way down here, I have this weekly chapter lecture video link. And I don't know if everybody saw it. I know several people have watched it already, but this is a lecture based upon last week, and I have already created a topic for next week. It's not visible to you yet, but it will be visible tomorrow. There'll be a video here, and you can then watch the video if you want to hear my explanation of the details that are in the PowerPoint, because obviously I'm not reading the PowerPoint to you. Some of the things I might read, but I'm also going to explain them, which is the reason why some folks come to class, so they can get that directly from me. Those of you that have the 3rd edition and the My CJ Lab, you're welcome to use the exercises and things that are in My CJ Lab, because they're interactive, they're fun, I think, and they will help you. You are also permitted, I know there's a few people that have the My CJ Lab, you are also permitted to do the quizzes there if you wish, rather than doing the quizzes that are here in this format. Anybody who's recognized some issues with the quizzes, I think the test bank might be for another book, another criminology textbook, so I'm working on fixing that. I would ask that anybody who watches this, wait till the end of the week to do the week 2 quiz. The questions look okay, but I want to double check to make sure that they're right. So we went through the lecture part. and you'll see that tomorrow. Again, answer any questions that you might have. We had planned to do a little debate here in class on the death penalty. We ran out of time. I think I'll start as a our review next week will be our death penalty debate. So if anyone wants to come and participate in the debate, go to the Death Penalty Information Center, which is also a link in the bibliography that you can see. I posted it in here. It's a really worthwhile place to go for information on the death penalty. So it gives you all the data, give you a lot of arguments, mostly against the death penalty, but also if you read your chapter, towards the end of the chapter, they talk about the death penalty as well, and why people think it's valid and why people think it's not, and with whether it's a deterrent, whether it's not a deterrent. And again, I'm going to cover all that in a lecture tomorrow. And then we basically blew out it. It was 9:30 by the time we finished the lecture part. Had planned to again debate the death penalty, talk about various types of sentences, people making choices. But again, during the lecture, most of that discussion stuff, which you do in the discussion group, we discuss actually together during the lecture, because I'm not standing up here and just reading off the slides. We are discussing all this stuff as we go through it. So again, this is what's in the bibliography. Note also, you should check out the doc share area, because obviously all the slides, some of you know that, have downloaded them. The agenda, you should only be able to see weeks 1 and 2. This document that I showed you already is posted there if you want to see it. The other ones aren't available to you. Chapter 1 of the textbook is here. As I said before, Chapter 4 will be posted. And I did do a PowerPoint with voice, just like you're supposed to be doing for your project, and it did work. And then when I tried uploading it somewhere else, I think it got corrupted, so it may not play. If you want to try it, go right ahead, but I already did a lecture in another format over here. All right, that should be enough for now. If you have any questions, again, contact me anytime, anywhere. Again, if you're going to call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably not going to answer anyway. But I am, most of the time, I am going to respond. One of the ladies here had some issues today, and she was like thrilled at how quickly I answer email, because I'm on top of it most of the time. It's usually coming through my phone, and I had some issues with my phone, which I just corrected because I figured out how to move a whole lot of my apps onto the SD card that I put in here. So now I spread the wealth a little bit. So I'm not slow, I'm not running out of space, so I should be able to check my email on my phone all the time, and I'll get your messages. Of course, I get text messages all the time. I get the notifications from the website when you post in the discussion group, so I can see what you're saying there, and I can even respond actually through a text message right to the discussion. I think I did that just once to somebody. So again, contact me if you got questions. Hope everybody's having a good night. And maybe I'll see some of you next week. Again, stay in touch, stay active in the discussions. There's probably 4 people that have not turned in your week 1 assignment yet. Please do that as soon as possible. I know we had issues with the textbook. Some of you had issues with financial aid and other administrative stuff even getting into the course. And there's like 1 or 2 people that just got into the course officially, like yesterday, the day before. Actually yesterday, Monday, first day of business. They got in the course. So I know those people are feverishly working on their assignments, so you know who you are. But actually one of those folks was here tonight. So please stay on top of stuff. It does not help to get behind, and it certainly doesn't help me. I have 18 people in the class, so I have to grade 18 papers. And I also have to do your grading for the discussion group, which I'll probably do again tomorrow or the next day. I have to set aside, a few hours of time now for the size of this class. So, but feel free to reach out to me. And again, hope everybody's having a good day.